All right, guys. So welcome back. That was an amazing conversation between Jon Gordon and Russell Wilson on how to have a limitless mind, thinking big. I think the first thing that he said that was kind of amazing about this is a lot of people say that you can't do things. You know, that's kind of the foundation of where we get our limited thinking from, is from what other people say about us. And he said what you need to take a look at is look back in your past, and you'll probably notice that a lot of the things that people said you couldn't do, you're already doing. So you're already proving them wrong. Again, I said he's going to name drop somebody that we've already done a podcast on, and that was Trevor Moawad, when he was talking about neutral thinking in his book, It Takes What It Takes. This is the foundation of how Russell Wilson operates, not only just on the football field, but in life. He was a huge impact in helping train his mindset from going to all of the things that could be going wrong or all of the things that could be going right, and then just focusing on that specific moment, that next specific play, which is something that every single one of us has to do. He said negativity works 100% of the time. So if you focus on it, it will quickly deteriorate everything that you're doing and everything that you're working on 100% of the time without fail. He said positivity, that gets you in the right direction, but it's the neutral thinking that allows you to look at the reality and push forward through all of the hard stuff, is what actually gets you through all of the work that it takes to become successful. He said with a limitless mind, you have to have an adversity mindset. Now that's weird, because most people don't think of adversity as being something that they want. It's something that people shy away from. And he said, if you want to have and harness the true power of a limitless mind, you already have to understand that there's going to be adversity, and that you are going to look forward to it, because you know on the other side of that adversity, there is an opportunity. When you work through the hard stuff, the great stuff is on the other side. It's one of those things where we talk about, everything is always uphill. There's nothing downhill. If you're going downhill, you're going backwards, and that's never a good thing. So if you take a time and look at what you're doing, and look at what could be the adversities and what you can anticipate, it's a lot easier to push through. He said, how do you develop your mind? Are you even developing your mind? Because if you're not, somebody else is programming it for you. He said the great verse that he continually goes back to is Philippians 4:13, which is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So when that is the foundation of your mindset, that gives you a baseline of, hey, I can do all things. So you say that out loud, repeat it after me. I can do all things, on a path forward to completing things that you may have never thought possible before. He said, it's always great to celebrate the wins. It's celebration time. It's great. The emotions are high. Everybody wants that. He goes, but nobody wants to stick it through when it gets hard, when it gets bumpy, when it gets uncomfortable, when it's in a place that is no longer familiar. He said, the successful people and people that have a limitless mindset have found a way to stick through it when it's hard, but not only stick through it while it's hard, they do it positively. Excuse me. They do it positively. He said, when you're under pressure, you can either crumble. So let's use coal as an example. You can either crumble or you can come out shining bright like a diamond. Pressure is what it takes to develop something of beauty and something of value. So you can either let it crush you, or you can let it form you and mold you into something amazing. Said, take time for your mind, because when you sit down and you start to think through things and become mindful of it, it allows you to see where you need to go. He goes, you need to take your mind from where it is today to thinking abundantly and having a limitless mindset, thinking huge, thinking big thoughts, dreaming big dreams. And he said, why? Everyone's going to ask you why. The question is, why not you? He said, why not be successful? Why not have what you want? Why not do the work? Why not do it for your family? Why not your team? When he was talking about this, he said, there was a parable of the 10, 5, and 1 talents. He said, the master gave out talents to all 3 guys. One guy had 10, one guy had 5, one guy had 1. The guy that had 1 went and hid it and did nothing with it. The guy with 5 went out and doubled his talents to 10. The guy with 10 went out and doubled his to 20. When the master came back, he asked for them to account for how they did. The one servant hid his, gave back the 1, and he told him that, he was a bad servant for not doing anything with the talent that was given to him. So instead, he took that and gave it to the guy who had 10. Guys, you want to be the person that has the 10 talents. You want to be the person that even has the 5 talents, because even he went out and doubled what he had. Take what you have and go out and use it and watch it grow. He said a surefire way to watch those grow is to use those talents to go out and help other people. He said, God has given you life to do this, and he is a limitless God. That means if he's given you something to do, you need to use it in order to be faithful back to him for what he's given you. And then on top of that, he will give you more. Making sure that you're doing things in small doses to get adding up to big wins. He said, simple, small wins lead and compound to large wins. Simple wins is what it takes, but most people tend to overcomplicate things. I mean, if you think about it, you can boil everything down to just a handful of things. That's what successful people do. Successful people in any industry have been able to look at what it is that they do and boil it down to about a half dozen things. We know that it's just a handful of things. Get customers, do your host to posts, do your KPIs, do the small things, just a handful of things that end up producing results. And that's it. The simple things produce results. The overcomplicated things create busy. So take time today to look at what you're doing and see if what you're doing is overcomplicating because it's creating busy work and not producing results. He said, you need to start with the belief that you can do it and that you can win. I talked about this a couple episodes ago about how, excuse me, you need to begin with winning in mind. If you begin with winning in mind, it'll open up ways for you to see how to win. If you just go on the journey, then you're not going to be actively looking for things that are going to compound and help you get to the win. So if you start out with the win in mind, all of a sudden it'll open you up to many more things, a possibility that will help you get to the win. 3 keys to a limitless mind. Number 1, love big. That's huge. If we could just all focus on just that one thing, it would take care of everything. That was one of the things that Jesus said, hope, faith, and love, but the greatest of all these is love. If the greatest of all these is love, and we just focused on that, how much would it solve so many of the world's problems? But then number two was serve big. Serve big is huge. Okay, so we start with love big. Well, serving big obviously comes out of love. So if you're serving big, it's opening up more and more opportunities because you're going out and helping other people. You're looking for opportunities to do good. You're looking for opportunities to help change people's lives. I said number 3, forgive big. This one not only helps other people, but more so it helps you. When you're able to let go and forgive others, then it allows you to have an open heart, an open mindset, which God is readily available to use and fill. So again, guys, why not you? Ask yourself that today. When you're sitting around looking at what you're trying to do, ask yourself, why not you? Look at the people that you're following. Look at the people that are your mentors. You see them doing it, but if they can do it, why not you? So think big, go far, guys, and we'll see you here again next week.